We're going to make starry night scenes inspired by Vincent Van Gogh's famous painting. First, we're going to just draw a tree in the front. It's going to be a big kind of pine tree, wavy tree. And then we're going to draw a line called a horizon line in the background. So it's a long horizontal line that goes across our paper. That's where the ground is. And behind that, we're going to draw a line that curves up a little bit for a mountain. So we have our tree in the front, we have our horizon line where the ground is, and we have our mountain behind. Now we're going to draw a moon in the corner, and it's going to be a crescent moon. So that's the moon that looks kind of like a banana shape. And we're going to draw a ring around that moon for the glow. And maybe another ring too. And now we're going to start adding little stars, and they're just going to be circles around your painting or your drawing. We're going to use oil pastels after we've blocked in all of our shapes. And Vincent Van Gogh actually used oil paints, but we're going to use oil pastels to make a similar effect. So now that I have all my stars in, I'm going to add a ring around each star because these are really bright glowing stars, just like Van Gogh made. And now that your stars are all in, we're going to start adding some houses in the front, just like in Van Gogh's Starry Night. Now they can be any way you want, and you can make as many houses as you want. So you're going to kind of start building a little village in front next to that big tree that you've drawn. So I'm adding a church with a tall steeple, and you can add some houses and some doors and windows on your houses. Whatever you want, it's your town. We're going to be all over that hillside, just square for the base, or two lines, and then a triangle roof for the top. Just adding in some little details, maybe some doors and some windows. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some swirls to the sky. Van Gogh made his night sky almost look alive, like it was moving through all the swirls he added in it. So I'm just going to add some curly spirals in my sky, kind of like wind blowing through your painting. And then we're going to add the color in a minute. So you can use either a pencil or a Sharpie for this section. If you used a pencil, you might want to go over all of your pencil lines with a black Cray-Pas before we move on to the color. But if you did Sharpie, you can just start adding the color. Alright, now we're going to get out our Cray-Pas, or oil pastels. They're the same thing, different name. And I'm going to start by coloring all my little stars, just the center dot, with the light yellow Cray-Pas, the lemon yellow. And I'm going to also color my moon with that lemon yellow. Now I'm going to put down my lemon yellow for a minute. I'm going to get out my deep yellow, my darker yellow, and I'm going to fill in all of the outer rings around my stars with that color. So that's going to be like the glow of the stars. You could also use an orange Cray-Pas if you don't have a deep yellow. And I'm going to color in that outer ring around the moon as well. And eventually we're going to fill our entire paper with colored pastel. And it's going to look almost like an oil painting. And I'm using a little bit of that light yellow to kind of blend around my moon. I'm adding another ring of the lighter yellow around my ring of the dark yellow. It's going to really make your stars look like they're glowing. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my next color of Cray-Pas. I'm going to get out my dark blue, and I'm going to start going around my spirals with my dark blue. I'm outlining all of my spirals with my dark blue. Because it's nighttime, so we're using some dark colors. And now I'm going to add some little dark blue marks in my sky. And I'm using just little marks, almost like a small brush stroke, to make the effect of the Starry Night painting. So Van Gogh, when he was painting Starry Night, used little brush strokes of different color to create the effect of the wind howling through the trees and the blowing, moving sky. So I'm doing the same thing, making little marks with my pastel all over my sky. And we're going to add a lot of different colors with the different marks and then blend them together at the end. And you'll see how we do that. So add some dark blue all over that sky in different spots using your little brush stroke like mark. And take your time. I don't want to see scribbling. We don't need to rush. We're going to really take our time and make a beautiful piece of work that you want to hang on your wall. So now I'm getting out my light blue and I'm doing the same thing, the same small mark, little brush stroke like mark, and I'm going around my spirals, the inside of my spirals with that light blue. Really taking my time. And I'm continuing to fill in my spirals with my small brush stroke using my light blue Cray-Pas. Now yours doesn't have to look exactly like mine. It should look like your own drawing. So if you want to add some other colors that I'm not adding, that's okay. But I want you to try to use this mark that I'm making. This little mark like Van Gogh did. And eventually we want all of that white sky of the paper to be filled in with color. So it looks like I've got a lot of light blue done. I think I'm ready to move on to my next color. Almost. I'm just going to put my finishing touches with my blue. And I think I'm going to move on to a purple next. That could be fun. So let's add some purple in our sky. Sky isn't always just blue, especially at night. You have reflections, you have maybe a little bit of a sunset left over. I'm going to add some purple in my spirals, continuing to make those small marks, little strokes, taking my time, and continuing to fill in that white paper with color. I know it's going to take a while, but that's okay. I think we're really going to like how it turns out in the end. Now I'm going to add a little bit of pink to my sky to really make mine look like a sunset. But your painting or drawing can be however you want it to be. So if you don't want to add pink, that's okay. Maybe you want to add a different color, maybe some dark green. Could be interesting. But you do want to use your little strokes and fill in the entire background. So whatever color you choose, try and cover up all of your white spaces with color. Now I'm going to get my light yellow back out and add some glow in the cracks, in those white cracks. Try and fill all of that in with color. And I think some yellow would look really nice. Yellow's going to look really nice against purple too because they're complementary colors. We'll learn more about that later. And I still have a little white showing, so I think I'm going to go back with my dark blue and fill in those white spots with some blue. But once again, you can add whatever color you would like to your sky. And I'm going back over my swirls with that dark blue so that they stand out a little bit more. They got a little lost when we put all the colors in, so I'm just outlining them again with that dark blue so that they stand out. And now that I have my sky full of color, I'm going to get out my white Cray-Pas and start blending my colors together. This is what's really going to make it start looking like a painting instead of just a drawing. It's going to be a really cool effect. So we're going to just go over all of our color with our white pastel and watch how they blend together. This is a lot of fun to do. I'm almost done blending my background together with my white Cray-Pas, and when I'm done with that, I'm going to move on to the foreground, so that's the mountain, the trees, and the buildings.